Tonight's episode is brought to you in part by Klub TV and Wilson's Pizza and Grill.
This from my pops, California coastlines, living out my real mind. Now it's really showtime, now it's how I draw a line. From the fake to real, that's how it feels when you multi. But let's not forget all of the giants I wanna stump down. Scared that their positions can't be taken with a new sound.
What's good? I am First Things First, don't forget the coach, then comes Mo.
And I'm Jabrelle, Jenee.
And we are here with the Eating and Social Podcast. We cannot forget, our DJ Ben Rich. Appreciate him for being here and all of you up. All right. We welcome you. We're happy to have you here to vibe with us, to play a part in keeping the culture. This is a special edition of the Eating and Social Podcast here at 1739 Gallery. Right off of 18th and Walnut, Kansas City, Missouri. Special because we got one of the living legends with us from Wyandotte County, an icon, one who truly understands what keeping the culture means. I started a job with the mayor's office in KCK, and what I was tasked to do was to find out how to get our youth more engaged in our community so that post-secondary they come back. And the first thing I thought about is, well, we got to find somebody that's doing that. And our guest, that's what he's done. Wherever his travels has taken him, he's always made sure he stayed connected to our community and make sure that he gave back. So without any more, I got to make sure that tonight, if you haven't known, our show is about showing oxygen. So I got to make sure we get that out. That's that truth. It's for the truth. We about the truth. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying, when we come here. So, we got tonight, Mr. Earl Watson.
Appreciate you.
Watson!
I gave me water and not the rosé.
Well, we can get that out. Listen, wait a minute. We ain't finished. We just started.
I'm good. That's later. That's for later.
This for later. Now, this right here, this is another homegrown thing. Everything here is from homegrown. This our guy, Brandocious. This our guy, Brandocious. He was on here. He's got his own wine now, Rosé, Confidence 71. Just started out, man. Shout out to my guy. And it's on the Evening Social Podcast.
That's dope. I like that.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Congratulations,
So, love it, man. He just had over the weekend, he just had his grand opening and set it up. And he came and supported us right after that.
How can people buy that though? Is it a website? How can
So they do have a website. You got to go to his Confidence 71.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that it's right there.
Yeah.
So they can see it when we cut it up. Yeah.
Perfect.
I would, listen,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that Truman got the deliberate attack on my life before, for later. Side note.
What are you talking? She does a lot of salt, man. Like now I told her, this is a vegan show today. We not putting no meat in, no beef. But she keep trying to throw it. You know what I'm saying? Now, Earl, I gotta let you know, last time you was with us, we had the town bench. Now he's got a junior town bench sitting over there. But they still do the same thing. They keep us on time, let us know when we be moving. It seems we be vibing, but they'll be like, let's move.
Yep.
So we keep us on time. So if you haven't known, if you didn't know, see what I'm saying? See, I said, so they keep us. I can't get to talking too much. But I love it, man. I got to make sure that we put out something special for us today. Our production team is made up through our Klub interns for the summer. We got some interns from all over, and they've been doing a wonderful job for us. And so that's what we see up here today as we're moving toward our online television network with Klub TV. It's out on Roku. So they're doing a great job of setting this up, man. I want to make sure that we give them a hand for what they've been doing. Man. So still holding true to the definition of the word Jegna. Jegna is an Ethiopian, Aramaic word, and it means we're switching it up. Since you are also, which no one knows this, but you are our first, Eating and Social Podcast alumni. This is your second time.
Yeah, second time around.
Yeah, you said you'd come back, and he's here. So we switching up just a little bit. It does mean speak truth to power, but it also means one who keeps the culture of their community. So I thought it was great to bring that out today because that's something we're going to talk about and something that we right here try to continue to do is be culture keepers. So with that being said, our conversation is going to still be about speaking truth to power. We're going to speak about what we can do in our community tonight, what you're doing. Some people don't know some of the things you're doing. We're going to say that, especially this amazing thing you're doing for our young ladies in basketball. We got to make sure we talk about that. So, without no, let's get into our next part of it. And at this moment, she just gave us the sign again, so that means this segment's about over. So we're going to go into our. She ain't going to let me get past. She said we're going to respect your time. Okay. All right. So we'll move to our next segment. All right. So our next segment is brought to you by Drip Ultra Pure Water. It's our icebreaker, our fun question segment.
Okay.
Now this time we gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun, break the ice and go. I gotta tell you, somebody sitting on the couch those curveballs.
Yep.
So just so you know it ain't me. Just so you know. So my first question is, what would you rather throw away? Love or money?
Man. I know I ain't throwing no money away. But no, for real though, like, you know, I had this dream when I was young. I had this one dream. My one dream, I had it since I was a kid. It was like, one day I'm going to get old enough playing it. I used to stay out with the Hazelwood Elementary, so I'll stay out the window. And like, one day, people will know my name, right? And then I'm going to make $1 million, right? Because back then, I seen Michael Jordan driving this dope, like sports cars, red, I don't know, Lamborghini, something, Porsche, something. I was like, I need that, right? And then as I got older, I learned about this thing called taxes, right? So that $1 million ain't $1 million, right? It doesn't work that way. And then I was like, I gotta get money, I gotta get money. So my whole life I would focus on like, you know, being successful enough to make as much money as possible. And then what I realized is you never can make enough money because there's always more to make, especially from our community. We got people we need to help. I don't have the luxury, or didn't have the luxury of making my money and not helping my parents. So when my first NBA check, this is real. My first NBA check, I bought my parents and my family a house. And I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, like in Memphis, right? Yeah. 2-bedroom apartment. I had rented furniture. I didn't have a bed spread. I had the sheet like a trap house. Right? I didn't have my TV and I had my video game system. Like the homies would know. And that's how I live. I grinded it out until I made enough money to buy my house. But I put my family first. So with all that said, it have to be money, right? Because the love came before myself, spending money on myself, so to speak. Right. So the money will have to go. I can always make more money. I can't always create more love for my family, right? Gotcha. They come and go. You know, one dad, one mom, and it's over. Children, boy or girl, and you don't have that many kids and it's gone, right? So love is more important than money.
I like that.
Okay.
Good job, Earl Watson. That was good.
Said my name like a school teacher.
She did. She said the whole thing.
Earl Watson. Okay. Who would you have play you in a movie and why?
Man. Alright, so I'm like, I don't know if people know this about me, but I feel like I'm an artist. Like I love basketball because it's abstract art. You can constantly create and morph and keep going. Yeah. Right? It's the only thing that keeps my mind going. So about a year and a half ago, right? No one knows this, about a year and a half ago, myself and my college teammate Matt Barnes teamed up together and I wrote a script with a writer about growing up in the dot and hooping. Right? It's a crazy story. I wrote it. So it's crazy that you asked me that because I have to answer these questions like within a month. Like who would I have? So you pitch, right? You write it, you pitch to directors, you pitch producers, and you pitch to networks. And they're gonna ask the same questions. And the truth is, I would rather break in a new artist. Like a new actor, right? They're artists too. I'd rather break them in because the old is the old. I like to give new guys a chance, new people chances, right?
Yep.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
That's that 50 Cent type of mentality. Like going to get new talent and putting them out there, but they already were stars. They just need a platform.
No, it's necessary.
Yeah, I like that.
It's necessary.
So I got to ask you this one, man. This probably, you might not want to answer, but I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
All right. What's the funniest way you've ever broken the law?
Damn. pops used to have a club on Quindaro called the Bunny Club, right? If you really want to go back to my family legacy, right? He also had a car wash on 10th Street. He also had a grocery store and liquor store, right? And all his brothers had the same. They like, their mindset was just different. So I would sit around and just eat it up, like how to create businesses, I was young now, how to, carry books and just watch how they moved all the time. My dad used to always wear suits. I know it's hard to believe because they only wear Nikes, right? My dad wore suits every day and always like Cadillacs, right? Yeah. But my dad told me, he's like, people didn't know, he used to work at the packing house. Go work the car wash, work the grocery store. I barely slept. So the grind was real. So the funniest way I ever broke the law is to steal candy out of the store. I would steal the candy out of my dad's store, take it to school and sell it for like a nickel or a quarter. Right? Take my nickels and quarters, go to the lunchroom and buy cookies. So I was always rolling. You know what I'm saying? I was always rolling with sweets. You know what I'm saying? That was like my thing. I was selling them to buy new ones. So that was the first way I broke the law.
Okay.
Why is it so childish? All right, let's see. What chore do you absolutely hate doing?
I just started washing clothes for the first time in my life. You know what I mean? I've always had like a maid, you know what I mean, or a sister, or a mom, to be honest with you. So, as the homie Johnny just left my house, he knows all my clothes are on my couch. Folding clothes and washing clothes is like the hardest thing for me to do. Like, it's like focus time. Like, I can't get focus time. Like, I'm not used to that, so it'd be washing clothes.
Okay.
Wait, actually washing them or folding them? Folding is the worst, the whole thing.
All of it, the whole point of it.
I hate folding clothes.
Okay. So, last time you were here, we talked about traveling time, and you said that you go back to the civil rights movement. That time with Martin and them. So now I want to ask you, if you could erase one event from history, which would you erase?
Slavery. It's not even close, right? And this is interesting, like, as our community sit here, our black community sit here, and we all are in this barrel, and we like supposedly competing, and it's the old crab in the barrel bucket mentality, right? Somewhere on the line, they made it seem like only one can make it, and that's not true. The world is bigger than the city we live in or the county, right? There's opportunity everywhere. And we're so resilient, and we come from a generation of survivors. A lot of people didn't make it. So we come from that lineage. We're true, I can't cut on this, we're true superheroes, right? And until we understand like our superpower, we can't tap into our superhero self. And to me, that's always important, is knowing what is your gift. Like, your gift will always set you apart, but that your journey on your gift can't be the same. We can't be on the same journey at the same pace, because it happens at different times for us. And we gotta realize we're so pressed for time being black, growing up in the hood, because we constantly surviving. We think we have to do everything before we 18, because sometimes we don't see 18. And we think if we make it to 21, we really made it. If we graduate from high school, we did great. But there's so many more opportunities than that, right? We have a lifetime to achieve. So my thing is to never, never give up, right? Understand your superpower and what it is.
I got a follow-up question to that, because if you erase slavery, right, do you still envision some type of migration to the U.S. and all of that? Because through slavery, what we deem to be our culture now as Black Americans would essentially not exist.
You're exactly right. If you think about our superpower, even oppressed and enslaved, we still created the richest nation in the world. Right? Because of our labor, our free labor. So there is no slavery, there is no United States. Maybe the United States is indigenous. And they surviving and excelling in their own way, because there were people here actually before. Right? My major is actually history, that's what I graduated in. UCLA is very liberal. Right? It's very liberal, and they push the truth. They don't push anything mandatory. The truth is the truth. You just back it up with facts and research. It's a research institution.
I like that. So, with that being said, I've been wanting to ask this because, everybody with kids, that they understand this question. So what have you learned about life from your kids?
From my kids?
Yeah. That's good.
So my daughter is I'm going to save her for last, because she's the most impactful to me right now.
Okay.
But with my son, he has this amazing gift of imagination, right? I take him to the Universal Studios, get his face painted like Spider-Man, and he wouldn't stop flipping through the damn park, right? He was really shooting people with webs, but it was no webs. And I'm like, dude, you're not really Spider-Man. But then I realized I can't stop that gift. Let him be Spider-Man. So his imagination is super crazy, right? I love it. He's beautiful and he's very like aggressive, but he's very empathetic, right? He's a great balance of both. And he's just beyond his, when I talk to him, I feel like I'm talking to a 50-year-old, right? And then I have my daughter, and what I learned through my daughter's eyes, and I'm still learning today, is how to be gentle but stern. Because I can't talk to my daughter the way I can talk to my son. And she'll check it, right? And then when I'm gentle to her, my son will be like, when I cry, you tell me, DJ don't cry. But when Bella cries, like, oh Bella, oh Bella. I'm like, oh, you want to cry? Yeah, I'm like, okay, come here, cry. And I hug him and I let him cry. Because we was taught as black men to never cry. We was taught to never feel, we was taught to never react. And we was taught that to survive. Because our parents was taught from their parents and their parents. It's the generational thing going back to slavery and survival of segregation to integration, right? It's everything that was taught. So with my daughter, I learned patience, because she's constantly testing my patience, right? And one thing I learned too is to never teach them about electronic currency. Because I get these pings for money for shopping for my daughter every time, right? It'd be like $50, $20, $10, right? In a week it's like $300, right? But she's smart. She asks me for the incremental amounts, right? But she's slick with it. So I learned a lot from my daughter. And my daughter have this very strategic, decisive demeanor about her. Like she sits and she watches, she studies. So they both are extremely me in different ways.
We got a couple more for you.
Is there anything about yourself that you would change?
Anything about myself that I would change? I wish early in my career, I wish I would have enjoyed the moments more. You know what I mean? Like I always had this time thought of what's next and how to achieve the next, whether it's the next contract, win the next game, the next business move and things like that. And I never took a chance to just breathe, right? And as I say that, I still don't do that
That's
now.
what I was about to say.
You know what I mean?
Are you doing that now?
I don't do that now because I constantly feel like, I really feel like in every generational structure, and especially in black families, there has to be one that sacrifices that chance to breathe and change the generational course of the family. Like you have to hustle as much as possible in order for my kids to don't have to play basketball if they don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. Like they don't have to go through the X amount of surgeries and stitches. I have so many stitches and surgeries throughout my body. Like I don't want my kids to go through that. Like I want them to choose their own path, not the only way we can get out the hood. So I thought about this earlier, like how many valedictorians do we know?
Right.
We don't even celebrate them, right? But we'll celebrate the hooper, we'll celebrate the toughest dude on the block, we'll celebrate the most gangster dude, which is Cornel West calls that nihilism. Like we don't celebrate the valedictorian. Why not? Why not? And that has to change, right? That has to be the biggest change in our communities. It can't be how fast can you jump, run, and dunk and catch a football and can't you rap, right? Or are you tough? Or you got that street cred? That don't mean shit, right? It has to be like what you doing with them books that are 20, 30 years old in our school that's still giving you a chance to compete with kids in the suburbs who like, you know, my kids go to suburban schools that have like yoga in school, like, you know what I mean? We don't have yoga in those schools.
It doesn't give them the instant gratification that I think everybody is looking for. Reading a book and becoming valedictorian, and I think that they don't realize the work that you put in to become the superstar that you are today. To them, it seems easy, it's entertaining, but to push somebody to be valedictorian is boring.
It's not boring though. It's a super credit, super help.
I think that's the perception of it.
No, I think part of what he's saying, I think that's what is looked at our neighborhood as getting you out of the neighborhood. Yeah. The valedictorian is not looked at as that's what gets you out of the neighborhood. The smart kid is not the popular kid.
Yeah.
And right now, what they're looking at is the popular kid is the kid that can play basketball. But sometimes he can't even half read or she can't do math, but that's the popular kid and that's what they see. So that's what everybody praises. But when the reality is the valedictorian that person is the one that has the most ability to change their family's life. They have the most ability to change our community.
You know what's crazy about that? Kids don't realize this. I don't realize this law is probably like, I'm 43, probably like 33, right? This is very important for kids to understand this. Professional player, professional rapper, professional actor. You don't have a career, you have a job. And what does that mean? That means you have a short amount of time to do it and it's over, right? The agent has a career. They can do it for 40, 50 years and move throughout Hollywood and move throughout sports and become a GM, become a president. After you play and you finish rapping and you finish acting, they push you to the side. So how many times, if you choose that life, you got to understand the lifespan of that life, and I'm cool with that. But how many times can you reinvent yourself when you're in that space? You got to constantly reinvent yourself. So eventually, the kid, the cool, like the smart kid at school that you maybe not hang with, eventually you have to hang with. And you have to learn, you have to study. You have to study all people like you study your craft. And you have to mimic them as well, like you might want to mimic like Michael Jordan or Kobe or LeBron, right? You got to be diverse.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to end that right there. We got a couple more we're going to do on our live. But we got another segment we're going to get to, and then we'll come back. With our next segment, this segment here is it's talking about childhood. We're going to mix it up. Because you came before, and we kind of know a little bit about childhood. What I want to talk about today, but first I got to say, because you were born where again? I want to get that out. I had to get that out.
You're going to be
I don't need it.
Kansas City.
I don't need it.
Because it's different, right?
No, because when I came up in basketball, people from Kansas, Missouri didn't respect us. They didn't even claim us.
Yeah.
They didn't even put us in their paper. We had to pick up the Kansas.
Yeah.
Right? That's just real talk.
Yeah.
So like even my hero on my block was Vincent Smith. He's from Missouri. Right? That was my hero though. It's my neighbor. Like I looked up to him. I wanted to be Vincent. Right? I wanted to be Demetrius Floyd. I wanted to be Jabo. I didn't want to be Mike. I wanted to be them three. Right? So like when I came, I was like, yo, I'm gonna make them respect me. I'm gonna give them 40. Right? They're going to respect me. And now you have this mutual respect in basketball. But I had to kick down that door to make that happen. Like, you know, Vincent kicked down the door, went to UMKC, boom, he made me believe. I kicked down the door and went to UCLA, boom, made everyone believe. And the next thing you know, Victor went out of here, right? Yeah. Nate went out of here, Jeff Hawkins went out of here, Malcolm went out of here, Michelle went out of here. People started to say, what's on the other side of the river? So I always remember and say, I'm from the dot. I got love from Missouri, I'm from the dot, right? And that's just real.
So you help plug it.
I'll just kick down the door. People don't know when I was at UCLA, dog, like Vic had went to like Illinois State, right? And he transferred. And when I found out he was transferring, I asked him the story. I had UCLA offer him a scholarship. I was recruiting. I was like, yo, come with me. Now, how many people would get to UCLA and try to bring someone from their hood to UCLA? Not hardly any. Because they only want to be celebrated. I was like, yo, come with me. Yeah. And then when little Jeff was coming up, I had Lab once again, UCLA head coach, offered Jeff a scholarship. Bring him on a visit. I'm like, yo, come here. Like I'm telling you, like, come here. So when you make it, you got to bring them. And if they choose not to come, that's their choice, right? They still did their way, and they were still successful. But I wasn't going to, like, look, I don't know what your way is, but roll with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? We gonna kick it. I'm in LA, it's sunny every day. We go to the pool. Like, let's get it.
Not that I love you as a player recruit.
It's important.
Yeah, it's very important. You know, one of the things I think is even more important is when you talk about kicking down the door. You know, it's super important to see someone from your community to do those things, to reach certain things, because then it seems attainable. You know, people always say, why is there so many rappers or people from other cities? That's because they have the example. When the little kids run around, they see these kids or these adults that are in these professions, so that's what they aspire to be. So I think it's great, and you did put an example out there for others to come from behind you. When I went to college, they used to always say Kansas City. I'm like, nah.
Yo, Wanda
don't get me mixed up with Kansas City, because you could be talking about Missouri. I'm from Wanda. Don't say Kansas City.
KCK. I mean, Wanda is specific vibe. It's a different mentality.
Right.
It's a different swag, and you see it no matter where you go. Even when I've seen you on television, I say, just the way you move.
You don't know how I define that?
Yeah.
We're from a county that we don't take, I think we take it for granted. We're from a county of free slaves. Their energy forever lives, right? And we don't understand that power. Though. We talk about superpower, that's the source. Like, what else do you need to believe? Like, when you go through life, dog, and you're young or you're old, wherever you're at in your life, you gotta look for signs of belief. You don't go through life and somebody say, here. It doesn't work that way. Like, you gotta look for signs to believe in, and to believe it so much it comes true. And if you don't look for those signs, you will never ever see the truth of your true potential, if that makes sense. Not talking about the truth of shirt, but we are talking about truth of shirt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta get Roger plug too, man.
Yeah.
You gotta see the truth, and that's how you continue to move forward. I see you, Rod. I'm on point, but I see everything.
I told you roll with
I
the
don't
truth, and you didn't want to.
I thought we were doing this.
Okay, we're gonna go back.
It's like,
Not too much.
I'm here to support.
Not too much.
Not
I'm
support.
just
Come
saying
on,
this.
Bernier.
No, listen, Bernier, she be shooting, Bernier.
You're not
I'm
getting
telling you.
nothing. Oh, I
She be
mean,
shooting.
I'm just gonna be for real. She's not getting that today. We had you set up, but not today.
Hey, don't worry about it. We get
Call it what you want.
So now, talking about going up, what I want to ask you again, because you have a large family.
Yup.
I want to talk about how that impacted the choices that you made.
Yup. I mean, I don't eat now, I eat once a day now. Like, I'm the fifth boy, so growing up in a house with 5 boys, they gonna eat first if you're the youngest. You know what I mean? So I still don't eat a lot. Like, I had a vegan shake and that's it, and I'll be good till maybe tomorrow or later. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't eat quick, you ain't getting seconds. 4 older brothers, that's an important choice, food. You know what I mean? And then you talk about like real life, like my parents and my brothers never sheltered me, right? I had chances to go to Johnson County schools and play basketball. And it was like, nah, you ain't doing that. And a lot of us do that. A lot of us go to these private schools and we go to schools outside of our neighborhood and our community, and we go there because we're celebrating and they want our skill,
Right.
but they don't want us. And I say that to say this. Everyone that went to another school outside of their county, they're now back home looking for opportunities. Where are those people at? That wanted them when they were young, right? Where are they at? And until I see them start getting those opportunities from those same people, I don't really vibe with it. Like, I took the hard way, right? Stayed in my little bubble, right? Wyandotte County, Hazel Grove, Coronado, Washington, you know what I mean? And then off to UCLA. Schlegel for like 3 months, you know what I'm saying? And then off to UCLA, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was quick. Like, I just boom, and got out. So to me, that's most important.
Wait, watch Lego for only 3 months.
Because I did this thing called transfer.
You threw that in there, kind of.
I did this thing called transfer. You know what I mean? I created the transfer rule in Kansas, to where you got to sell a certain amount of games and you got to live in it. You got to show proof. I created that, right? I really believe, like, even at the age, I was young in my 9th grade. I graduated when I was 17, so I was probably like 14, right? So I really believe, like, if you are not going to detour me of my opportunity, like, I don't care who you are. Like, I know who I am. I can't conform to what you want me to be. I can never assimilate. That's probably my biggest problem. I can't assimilate, right? I know who I am. I know where I'm from. I know what I represent. I will never assimilate off the court or on the court. So I couldn't run a structured offense where I walk the ball up the court every time. It was a conflict with the coach. You know, he was like, sit in the locker room and wait till the game is on. That's embarrassing. You're not going to embarrass me. You can. You know, I'm throw my shoes in the stand and transfer and beat you the first game I play. That's just the truth. So I threw my shoes in the stands at the KCK tournament, right? Transferred to Washington, and they made me sit out like 10 games. It wasn't a race, it made me sit out 10 games.
Yeah, Washington?
Yeah, the state of Kansas. The first game back was versus Schlegel. They hadn't beat Schlegel in like 15 years. We beat them. And when we beat them, that gave me so much confidence, right? That gave me confidence that I control my own destiny. And it's not a high school coach. It's not, you know what I'm saying, like one game, it's me. I control my destiny. And I ran with that confidence and that belief for the rest of my life.
I love it. All right. So what we're gonna do right now?
Someone's not cheated us.
Come on now.
Chris,
Come on.
he gonna tell me like last year, you know my uncle was the ref. I was like, yo, that's why I got 4 straight fouls.
He tell you that after the fact.
I remember every game, dog.
Yeah.
I still hold grudges.
Hey, well, we'll be right back with our Jenee Club Facebook Live broadcast with Earl Watson. But before we do, we have a treat for you. All right, we have Faymis Amira that's going to bless our live audience members with some grown folks music. All right, so we'll be right back.
Let's go, Amira.
Faymis Amira, Faymis Amira, Faymis Amira.
What is love? Crazy, stupid love. I've had enough. Don't want no more. I'm done keeping score on it. What is love? What is love? Crazy, stupid love. I've had enough. Don't want no more. I'm done keeping score on it. What is love? 6 years, too many tears to dry. I needed you, but did you need me too, baby? No, 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 no. Loving you is what I'm meant to do, but look at what you put me through. Down in the darkness, that's where my heart is. Since you. What is love? Crazy, stupid love. I've had enough. Don't want no more. I'm done keeping score on it. What is love? What is love? Crazy, stupid love. I've had enough. Don't want no more. I'm done keeping score on it. What is love?
Faymis Amira.
All right, what's happening, good people? As always, you're in for a treat tonight. We welcome you. We're happy to have you here with us to play a part in keeping the culture here on the Evening Social Podcast. This is our Facebook live stream brought to you in part by New Wall Street, an investment education community. We can't forget our partners. Our episode partner is Wilson's Pizza and Grill. Our venue partner here is the elegant 1739 Gallery. Our brand partners, let me make sure I do this. You know what I'm saying? Because I roll with the truth. You know what I'm saying? Truth apparel. Rides in the house, how to say that. But also, we got our brand partner, Bernier 91. Yeah, there we go. And Kamisha's in I love it. And Kamisha is in the house tonight too, so thank you for being here. All right, Mr. Wilson is also in the house. Appreciate him being here. All right, Steve is in here somewhere.
Those wings are fire.
Oh man, come on.
I'm trying to go get me a vegan pizza so I can, you know what I'm saying? I don't eat wings anymore, but you know, it's always fun.
That's why you all the way vegan?
I'm all the way vegan.
All right.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it is. Then we also got Drip Ultra Pure Water, and then Sweeties Teas. Can't forget our Evening Social Podcast giveaway. It is supported by our KC Royals. You can win 4 tickets plus parking each week in our drawing. And then you have a chance, and he's here. You have a chance to win. Everyone who each week comes out, their tickets are put into a pot, and you have a chance from the Urban Kitchen KCK to win dinner for 2 with Chef George. And that drawing is going to be on 7/26, July the 26th, when we have our intimate evening with JB. So you got to be present. You know what I'm saying? The more entries you want, follow us on all social media platforms. All right? So now that that's out the way, let's get started. I am, first things first, don't forget the coach, then comes Mo.
I'm Jabrelle Jenee.
All right, well, thank you, Jabrelle. All right, we can't forget our DJ, Ben Rich, he's over there. And tonight, our special guest is Mr. Earl Watson. So appreciate you for being here.
Every time you say that, I just want to get out on,
Randy.
yeah. Earl Watson.
I'm gonna drop the mic.
All right, now, this is what our show is about. So this is an opportunity for us to, to give oxygen, not flowers. All right, we're not knocking no other show or anybody else, but we give oxygen here. This is our way to breathe life into our people, into you, for who you are, for what you become, and the things that you do in our community. So I'd like for everybody to spend this opportunity right now to give some oxygen to Mr. Earl Watson. That's going to move us right into our next segment.
Tonight's episode was brought to you in part by Wilson's Pizza and Grill and Jegna Klub TV. Our Facebook Live broadcast was brought to you in part by New Wall Street. Our musical guests are brought to you in part by Henderson Entertainment. Our live audience giveaways are brought to you in part by The Royals. Our venue partner is the Elegant 1739 Gallery. Our clothing partners are Truth, The Reason, and Brainiac 91. Our beverage partners are Drip Ultra Pure Water and Sweeties Teas.
Now, this right here is our next segment, and it is brought to you by Brainiac 91. All right, this is our Speaking Truth to Power segment with Jabrelle Jenee.
Oh, look at that, Coach. You didn't throw no salt on that or nothing this time.
I don't know salt. That's your thing. I just roll with the truth. That's all.
I digress. Moving forward. Today, speaking truth to power, I actually was even talking to Earl about this earlier a little bit. I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about, but I just kept hearing the word trauma replay over and over today. And I try to keep it light. I wanted to talk about something lighter, but I think this is necessary to speak about trauma. I think that we all have inherited a lot of trauma, just in general. Talking about our journey as African Americans, Black Americans, things of that nature. We've inherited a lot of trauma and things that followed that continue to traumatize us, and I don't think that we realize it. I know personally I've not appreciated my trauma. I've not respected my trauma. And I say appreciate because in order for you to fully heal from trauma, you have to understand all of the areas that you've been impacted by. You have to understand all of the implications of it. And if you don't, there's no way that you can effectively repair. And so I encourage everybody to acknowledge your trauma. Things that you have swallowed, things that you've pushed under the rugs, things that you don't even realize have traumatized you. I mean, something as simple as having your lights cut off as a little kid. Something as simple as somebody crushing your dreams when you were so passionate and so sure about it. That's traumatic. You know what I'm saying? I think that we swallow a lot of that and move forward and don't realize the impact that it has on us. But deal with your trauma. Deal with your trauma, acknowledge it, respect it, appreciate it, and repair yourself. That's where I'm at.
I just want to add one thing. When you deal with your trauma, don't deal with it with your friend, with your parents. Deal with it with somebody who is professional and ability to do it. It was always looked bad upon in our community like that's not the thing to do. Just toughen up. But we need to speak to somebody about it. We need it in order for us to get over.
I think something that is apparent within our community, especially, is that trauma is a bit duplicitous at times, because the way we deal with it, we give the impression that even though we are strong people, I think we give the impression that we're not hurt by it, and that is harmful to us just in general. You know what I mean? Like you said, you've been taught not to cry, and things become the norm. It's toxic. It's not healthy. Talk to somebody, anybody. Even if you can't talk to a professional, I think the first step is to look in the mirror and acknowledge that it is something wrong just with you. Yeah.
Eve said you can't keep trying to get more time for your segment and stuff.
First of all,
that's
did
what she
not
just said. You was at the end of it. Then it's my turn. Once you
How
finish,
is it?
it's my turn to get us to the next segment. All right. That's what I do. I get us to the next segment. All right. Now let's move on to the next segment that we get to in the next one. All right. All right. Now we moving to our next segment, Earl, but we gotta go back and then come back. I told you we had a couple more fun questions on our live we wanted to hit you with. So I gotta ask you this. So how do you think the world would be if bananas were illegal? Okay, that's how I take that.
I have another fun question. Go on and give it to me.
I'm just saying, any other time you all on my notes taking questions, now you don't want to take questions. Okay, well I'll do this to you. Okay. So this is one that was written, and I said I was going to ask you. Would you rather look like a potato or feel like a potato?
What's the question again?
Would you rather look like a potato or feel like a potato?
I like a potato. I'd rather look like a potato than a potato couch, bro. It's a new age, bro. Technology. You sit at home and make money from your phone. Right.
Come on, you
If you
still
go with it,
Yeah.
Straight up. What's wrong with that? You spun that. I didn't see nothing positive in that.
Boy, you switch so fast. Like every week you switch. Woo! Okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. This my next. I'm getting to the next question. Because since you don't have it, I'm getting to the next question. All right. What type of animal are you most excited to see when you go to the zoo?
I don't go to the zoo.
You go to the zoo?
Yeah, I go to the zoo.
You take the kids to the zoo?
No.
Wait, why?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. I feel like I'm not cool with anything really being in a cage. Right? You know what I mean? Like, it goes from people to animals, animals to people, same thing, right? And then the other thing is like, a lot of zoo animals are from where?
A lot of what?
Zoo animals are from where?
Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
See the connection? I just don't mess with it. You know what I'm saying? But if I love the animals, it's crazy you ask me about animals though. People always tell me how lions are like king of the jungle, right? Right? So like, I be seeing all these, I don't know how I see them. I see all these lion attacks, like, you know how they hunt? You know how they hunt?
Yeah.
They hunt in packs.
Right.
They jump.
Yeah.
It's never one-on-one. Think about
But
that.
they call them pictures.
Maybe I think too much. You know what I mean? Like, I really think I think too much sometimes. So I'm like, yo, I never do that. Every time I see a lion attack, like, want to jump on you, and then you kind of losing, then here come the homies, right? And I was like, damn, imagine if we stuck together.
No, it would be.
Talk about it.
Okay? You see what I'm saying?
No, I saw where you
Imagine
was
if we
with
stuck
that.
together. Imagine everything we could conquer, right? It's just, you know, I be thinking too much later now.
And if you know what? And you know what's crazy is that they probably can handle it alone. It's the principle.
I don't think they can. Cause,
You don't think they can?
Them elephants be whooping their ass. Keep it out, it's recorded. Like,
Oh, my
leave that like they be coming.
Childish.
All right. I got two more. Then I'm gonna switch it up.
Yep.
All right.
Kids got smarter.
Come on, man.
I mean, I'm waiting on you to finish.
I don't have
You didn't have no questions, but yet
I'm
you keep
listening.
talking.
I'm waiting on you.
That's what it was. So, would you rather be able to control time or be able to know what other people are thinking?
Time. Time travel is real, you know what I mean? Like Einstein said, time is an illusion. And it's really true, right? Clocks are man-made. You know what I'm saying? I used to spend a lot of time with Big Ray. I think I told you this last time. Like me and Big Ray used to sit up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, I just listen. You know what I mean? Like I was like 18 to 23, 24, I spent a lot of time with him. Literally time, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he would sit there, he would just break things down, and he would tell me crazy stories about the I Have a Dream speech, right? He would just continue to go around, just break them down, everything they had to do, and he'd get thrown into something funny and talk about like Tupac, you know what I'm saying? And he'd like talk about like just things, and I wish I could get back that time, because I have a lot of questions now that I'm older that I wish I could ask him. Like I wish I could ask Coach Woodin. Like I wish I could ask people that I lost, right? A lot of questions, but that's the beauty of time, you know? Like time is like this. We don't have a lot of time, right? You can't buy enough time. Like I will pay you to go away. Seriously, I will pay you to leave me alone. Like, what you need? Like, what do you? Don't give me a long intro. What do you want? And like, you know, if you know me, like I don't really respond to text or phone calls. Right? I just don't, because I don't have enough time for myself. And if I don't have enough time for myself, I better have time for my kids. So it's like the little time I have, I'm throwing it to my kids, right? The little time that I have, I'm throwing it to helping like my girls travel to Miami and practice, like with them, like teaching them NBA stuff, right? Like so the little time that I have, I'll just use it. Like my daughter say this all the time, like people think like sport is beautiful. Sport is not beautiful. Sport is a grind and it's ugly, right? You are going to get your heart broken if you're an entrepreneur in sports, entertainment, or music. It's a path of heartbreak, right? How many times can you get your heart broken and still get up and do it again? So I literally work on the computer, like coding, breaking down games outside of the 3 to 4 hour practice. Practice 14 to 16 hours a day outside of that. I'll sleep like 3 or 4 hours a night, right? And this is like my retirement job, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm being for real. So like if you want to be great at what you do, it's never enough time. You have the same 24. Where are you putting your 100% energy in your 24? Are you throwing it in gossip? Are you throwing it in a bad relationship that can freeze you? Talk about trauma. Bad relationships are traumatic, right? Fight, flight, freeze, right? It's just, and then the fourth F, we know what it is, right? Yeah. That's how dudes tap out, and dudes don't understand that. They don't get the progression of trauma. Fight, flight, right? Fight, freeze, flight, flight, freeze, and that last F is the obvious. Men don't get that. They don't understand. That's not normal, right? So when you talk about time, you used to keep breaking it down. My daughter's like, you gotta sleep, Dad. Like, I can't sleep. I'm too hungry. Like, I'm still hungry. Like, I can't sleep. Like, there's so much I want to accomplish. Like, I don't feel like I've accomplished anything yet. Like, I'm hungry, right? I need to change the world. I don't need to just change my family. You know what I'm saying?
When you say that, I mean, because to us it appears as if you're so much. I mean, the accolades are endless. When you say save the world, like, what do you mean? What do you aspire to?
Change the world. Like, I can't say no one.
Change the world.
You know what I'm saying? I can only give you words that can transform you, right? When people go to church, whatever you celebrate, they think the preacher is going to change you. He can't change you. If the word is pure, it's going to change you, right? The brain, we're about to go into some weird spaces with you, right? There's a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind, right? Subconsciously, we do not control what we think or hear, because we just move around like robotically, right? Subconsciously, once you learn to control your subconscious mind, what you hear and what you see and what you read, you control your destiny. Because what the brain does, the brain doesn't know the truth. The brain doesn't know truth or false. The brain just knows whatever it hears. It's been an entire life span finding that to be executed.
Right.
It doesn't know the difference, right? So it can take you to music. It can take you to, people around you who don't believe in you. It can take you to what you read. It can take you to what you write. It can take you to who you hang around. 5 closest people around you is going to determine your success. 5 5 closest people. That's why I can't give my energy to everyone, right? Because I got 2 little people looking at me. Like, and they trying to figure it out, right? And I got to understand how they see it, because they ain't growing up in the dot. You know, they don't understand, they living, they ain't surviving. But how do I push those buttons to motivate them? Like, I had my son shooting for an hour, start crying. I don't care, keep shooting. You just told me you don't like, you told me the weekend is too short, you don't want to go back to school on Monday, right? Well, this is a way I know how to get out. Basketball. And then if you want to do something else, community wealth. Now that we're celebrating black success, I know black doctors, I know black lawyers. What do you want? I'll put you over there. My homeboy Jay Valentine with Tank, there was on the verses. You want to sing? I'll put you with Jay Valentine. Jay Valentine brings me his son. You want to hoop, right? Dudes, like, so we just keep trading, and we just trading success because that's what everyone else do, right? Community wealth. We understand our community wealth is the most precious thing. Go back to the Lions, right? If we stay together, we can accomplish anything, and that's real, right?
I like that. I'm gonna let that in that one. Can't go no. I ain't gonna ask no more on that one. I'm looking at our time. We got? Oh, she's gonna put the book up. I still got some more time. So I'm gonna hit you with this. We're gonna talk about a little bit about schools, like college and post-secondary a little bit. So I know how impactful you say UCLA was for you. But talk to me about the relationships. I always like to go back to relationships because I believe that's one of the hugest things for success is that network and relationships with people that you put yourself around and that's around you. So can you talk to us about how impactful the relationships that you made at UCLA?
UCLA, just because of UCLA, my life is crazy. It's like Forrest Gump, right? So like, I have some really cool mentors, man. Like Howard Schultz is one of my closest mentors. He started Starbucks, right? And he had a partner that he started it with. And his partner didn't believe it anymore because it was failing. So when his partner left, he just left. And Howard thought Starbucks was gonna die and he found a way to flip it and make it work, right? Another one, I say this all the time, is Baron Davis. Like a junior in high school, Nike camp, he was my teammate, we became close. I lived with him and his grandmother in 85th, like in Monroe, which is South Central, like real politics in the hood, right? When you came across that street, because that's like a different game. You know, you got to stay in there, literally you go there on Sunday, and that's real politics, right? LA is just different. And so I went there for my freshman summer program. I came back home here, and then Baron called me, he's like, yo, and he knew how much I love this dude. Because, you know, he's like, you ain't gonna believe it in the gym, who? And I'm like, who? He's like, Master P. I'm like, what? Master P? Like, I gotta get back out there. So Master P eventually became my biggest supporter in every way possible my whole UCLA career. I would sit and just talk to P. Like, just sit, talk to him, we talk about everything. I'm like, yo, like, talk to me about money. We would talk about money. He was like, he always said this. He's doing it now. He said, yo, if I ever got to the point where I was struggling, I know how to do it again. I'm like, damn. So I don't want anyone to give it to me. Because if I ever get to the point where I'm struggling, I know how to do it again because I already done it. Right? And that recipe goes into everything that you do. And his grind was endless. And this is when like Snoop was leaving Death. You know, they don't understand, they living, they ain't surviving. But how do I push those buttons to motivate them? Like I had my son shooting for an hour, start crying. Care, keep shooting. You just told me you don't like, you told me the weekend is too short, you don't want to go back to school on Monday, right? Well, this is a way I know how to get out. Basketball. And then if you want to do something else, community wealth. Now that we're celebrating black success, I know black doctors, I know black lawyers. What do you want? I'll put you over there. My homeboy Jay Valentine with Tank, there was on the verses. You want to sing? I'll put you with Jay Valentine. Jay Valentine brings me his son. You want to hoop, right? Dudes, like, so we just keep trading, and we just trading success because that's what everyone else do, right? Community wealth. We understand our community wealth is the most precious thing. Go back to the Lions, right? If we stay together, we can accomplish anything, and that's real, right?
I like that. Okay. We'll let that in, that one.
Right.
Can't go no. I ain't gonna ask no more on that one. I'm looking at our time. We got? Oh, she ain't put the book I still got some more time. So I'm gonna hit you with this. We're gonna talk about a little bit about schools, like college and post-secondary a little bit. So I know how impactful you say UCLA was for you. But talk to me about the relationships. I always like to go back to relationships because I believe that's one of the hugest things for success is that network and relationships with people that you put yourself around and that's around you. So can you talk to us about how impactful the relationships that you made at UCLA are?
UCLA, just because of UCLA, my life is crazy. It's like Forrest Gump, right? So like, I have some really cool mentors, man. Like Howard Schultz is one of my closest mentors. He started Starbucks, right? And he had a partner that he started it with. And his partner didn't believe in it anymore because it was failing. So when his partner left, he just left. And Howard thought Starbucks was gonna die and he found a way to flip it and make it work, right? Another one, I say this all the time, is Baron Davis. Like the junior in high school, Nike Camp, he was my teammate, we became close. I lived with him and his grandmother in 85th, like in Monroe, which is South Central, like real politics in the hood. Right, when you can't cross that street because that's like a different game. You know what I mean? You gotta stay in your neighborhood literally, you go there on Sunday and that's real politics, right? LA is just different. And so I went there for my freshman summer program. I came back home here and then Baron called me, he's like, yo, and he knew how much I love this dude. Because, you know, he's like, you ain't gonna believe it's in the gym hooping. I'm like, ooh. He's like, Master P. I'm like, what? Master P? Like, I gotta get back out there. So Master P eventually became my biggest supporter in every way possible my whole UCLA career. I would sit and just talk to P, like just sit talk to him. We talk about everything. I'm like, yo, like talk to me about money. He would talk about money. He was like, he always said this, and he's doing it now. He said, yo, if I ever got to the point where I was struggling, I know how to do it again. I'm like, damn. So I don't want anyone to give it to me. Because if I ever get to the point where I'm struggling, I know how to do it again because I already done it, right? And that recipe goes into everything that you do. And his grind was endless. And this is when like Snoop was leaving Death Row. So I'm asking him about Suge, right? And the whole time I asked him about Suge, he's like, oh man, like, yeah, man. And you know, P used to roll around in LA and it's like bulletproof suburban, right? And I just thought it was just crazy to me, like, chance to kick it with P and be with P. So I had all these amazing experiences. And another one was like the former CEO of Disney. Like I'm just blessed to meet people and just develop relationships.
It's priceless to be in a room with great minds. Like what I would give to have some of those conversations.
You in with them now, right? It's just people don't know their name. Like, I'm just being honest with you. Like you in with them now. The minute you tap out of like life is about unbecoming. It ain't about becoming anything. It's about unbecoming what you thought you were supposed to be who you truly are. Like that's some real shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's what life is about. Like we think we're supposed to become a certain way, be a certain way, do a certain thing, and that's not true. You unbecome that to keep your true essence, and we don't have to assimilate. Like I've never assimilated. That's why I'm fired. Like that's why I got fired. I couldn't assimilate. Just being honest, I couldn't assimilate. Look what my dad is. I'm not assimilating. Like I can't go home and be celebrated by all of y'all and my family and the kids back home. And behind closed doors, I'm assimilating. I'd rather be fired. Because you know why? I did it on my own. I know how to do it again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. All right, we're going to get into a little bit more about the community, what you're doing. We're going to take a quick break. And during this break, we're going to let the people hear a little bit more about from Faymis Amira. You know, some grown folks music. I hear that as we roll some of our partnerships, and then we're going to finish and talk more about community.
Yeah.
All right?
I get what you're saying. I say what you mean to say, man, you feel.
Faymis Amira. Baby, you know that I'm down for you. Been around for you, and you know how I'm feeling too. The ways I'm in for you, baby. I know you see it too when you look into my eyes. Yeah. When you
I'll be back.
All right, we're back after that heat from Faymis Amira. All right, love that. Earl, we're gonna get to a segment then that is one of my favorite segments. Talk about kind of career and family, but it's one of my favorite segments because it's brought to you by Truman. So, in here, let's talk a little bit about some things, a little bit about career and then pathway to what you're doing in our community. So, you come out of UCLA and you're drafted. Talk about your rookie season. Talk to us about your rookie season, and I know it's probably a lot of things, but I want to know something that was like really most impactful to help you become tenured in your career.
So when I came into the NBA, it was 2001, and back then the roster was like 10 people, and they could keep 12, and they kept 2 extra spots for like trades or availability, right? So if you was a second round pick like I was, you had to make the team. It wasn't a guaranteed contract. So from the time I got there in August to like January 15th was my guarantee date, I slept on an air mattress, right? That's why I love growing up in the dock, right? Because sometimes I just sleep on the floor, but I have a bedroom sometimes. So I was comfortable with grinding, right? So I slept on an air mattress that entire time until my contract was guaranteed. TV on the floor. I only had a DVD player. I remember those DVD players. Like, I only had those. I had no cable, I had lights, all that stuff, but just DVDs, air mattress, and I was focused, man. Like super focused, but like it gave me the edge. And the minute I made it past that first year, I got a 3-year contract. So then I was like, I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, right? And that's the key to success. You have to be very comfortable being uncomfortable.
Who are you playing for?
Seattle Sonics. GP was my vet. You know what I mean? That classic Gary Payton. I love Gary Payton. Like, first time I met Gary Payton, playing pickup before training camp. And I seen GP with a G-Wagon in 2001. I've never seen a G-Wagon in my life. I don't think he came out. He had one, right? So he walks into us, to the gym, we playing pickup, and GP he's just a disruptor. Like, he doesn't like any point guards, any. So I'm bringing the ball up court, he stops the game, cuss, every word is a cuss word. He was like, what you see? I'm like, what I see? Like, I see you again, bro. Like, he's like, nah, your team tired. What you gonna do with your team is tired? I was like, it's pick up. Just keep playing. He's like, no, call a timeout. You ever seen a timeout in a pickup game? Never. He was messing with me. Right? He was messing with me. I'll see what this is. You know what I mean? And every rookie had like rookie rookie duties.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had none.
Okay.
My rookie duty was to be a designated driver, right? So he'll call me at 3 or 4 in the morning, go get him, take him home, all that. I'd be sitting there like 3 or 4 in the morning, we got practice at 8, and just seeing him laugh and talk in the park. I'm like, he's making like $20 million a year. I'm trying to make the team. Like, come on, bro, we gotta go. Like, but it got to the point where GP respected me so much, and this is where you gotta get out of your ego, right? It got to the point where I realized he wasn't yelling at me. He wasn't teaching me. So I went to him in the middle of practice and said, yo, big bro. Call me baby boy, still to this day. So what's up, baby boy? I was like, I'm here with you. I always wanted to be you. Like, defense, just swag, everything. Lobs, I try to mimic my game after GP. I was like, but you haven't taught me anything. You don't yell at me. You don't cuss me out. You don't push me. And I'm going to waste the entire season with one of the greatest point guards that never learned. Because what, my ego's too big? I have no ego. Teach me. He sat down. He said, oh, that's what you want? I was like, yeah. He said, all right. Go get me a Gatorade with 3 ice cubes. Cool story. I said, that's it? He's like, yeah, cool, I don't care. When they got the Gatorade, I used to be the ball point water boy at Cornell Middle School in 6th grade. Washing jerseys and folding clothes. I couldn't do that in the league to get paid. I went and got his Gatorade with 3 ice cubes, brought it back. He's like, oh, you serious? I was like, I'm serious. And then every word was a cuss word, right? He stood up, taught me how to guard and pick and roll, taught me how to run and pick and roll, taught me all the tricks. Because at that level, it's a lot of stuff people don't see, right? To start teaching me. And from that moment on, I knew I could play 10 plus years. I played 13. So, GP, I love him. He's my big bro. His family's still my family. His son just won a championship. I just love the dude, Without him, I wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Just let's talk a little bit about Memphis. Talk about something impactful from Memphis.
3-6 Mafia. If anybody from Memphis or went to Memphis, you cannot move around Memphis by yourself, right? Memphis is like hustle and flow for real, right? So I used to always hang with DJ Paul and Juicy J, right? So they would come to every game. I wouldn't go out unless I went out with them. Always with them, like 200 of their people, right? Because the first time I went to Memphis, I went out by myself. I came out to the parking lot. It was people like on top of cars with AKs, like just doing donuts. I'm like, yo, I cannot go out by myself ever again. I survived the dot, dog. I gotta survive here. You know, I gotta figure out the politics. So Juicy J, and DJ Paul. DJ Paul's one of my closest friends, and then UB Brown. UB Brown was the master of masters, the greatest teacher. Like, and he showed me something. He was like, the greatest coaches are teachers, they're not coaches. There's a difference. A coach is gonna yell at you, right? Go, get it. A teacher's gonna teach you the why to everything. And once you learn the why to everything, you can manipulate it and be successful at everything. And that's what he was very creative in. His gift was teaching.
You talked about him before, talking about putting family first, you know what I'm saying, before the game. He gave you Sundays off. There was some great jewels you gave us last time. That's something that really stood out to me in our lives. You know, I went back and looked at it, like, man, that's something I didn't have to do. I remembered that from the beginning when you said, you know, this game is going to end, this job is going to be over. But your family will always be.
He gave me an important jewel, and this is like really big. I was like, you know, 21, 22. He was like, never take work home. He's like, the minute you take work home, right? I'm an alcoholic, get divorced, your kids that hate you, become a drug addict. You don't take work home. You leave work at work. If you go into home, family, your father, your husband, your significant other, whatever your role is, and you leave that there. But it's so difficult for us to not bring work home. So I figured out the trick, right? The trick for me was not live close to work. I needed that time in the car to play my music, drive, and then we all sit in the driveway and turn on music. Sometimes I don't get out my car. You know what I mean? I sit there, it'd be like 2 in the morning, and I'm like on my phone, like just listening to old school R&B or whatever it may be, whatever that mood is. I just don't get out the car, right? So it's just, he gave us that jewel and I always ran with it. And UB Brown is still impactful in my life today too.
So that's so many great examples. You know, it's always, I'm always so surprised by how people retain the information that they've been given. Not everybody takes the advice that they've been given. Not everybody knows how to apply, you know what I'm saying, the experiences that they've had. So
John Williams was the best. I would visit him in his condo, right? And his whole wall was full of books, right? And we'd be sitting there. I was like 18, 17, 18 at the time, 18 to 22, 18 to 22, whatever. And he would sit down and just, he never talked about basketball first. The first thing he talked about, UB, Popovich, Wooden, Jerry Sloan, they're all in my life. They would talk about the person first. So he would discuss you as a person, and then he'd throw out poetry, just start reciting poetry. I'm like, that's dope. You know what I mean? And then he'd talk about his wife. And what people don't realize is this is the dopest love story ever. His wife at that point was deceased for probably like 25 years. Every Sunday morning, he would wake up, write a love letter to his wife, put it in an envelope, and put it underneath the bed. For 25 to the day he passed away, right? And I thought that was beautiful. Then he would talk about like sport. He would talk about leadership. He would talk about if you are a team, there's no I in team. We all know that slogan, right? There's no I in team. This thing was, you know you're a great team when you arrive and no one cares who gets the credit. He Brown would say something like this. He would say, when you're on a losing team, everyone in the city would say, hey, how many points did you score last night? When you're on a winning team, they're going to say, great game. Right? So the togetherness is always important. When you think about it, we're always on a team. When you get married, you become a team. When you have kids, you are a team. You got to get everybody on the same page as a team and understand the why. You know what I mean? I'll be talking to my kids like that. My son be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, but like one day you will, you know what I'm saying? Like one day you will, it's important, you know, and that's big.
So you make the transition, you've been playing 13 years, you make the transition into coaching.
Yeah.
All right. As you make the transition into coaching, I don't want to say this. I'm bringing back something up because I thought it was so impactful. This and I can't tell it the way you tell it, and I've been telling my students and people this since you came. But you made a choice to coach, and why did you make that choice to coach? Because you told me back then it wasn't for the money.
No.
Yeah, but you made the choice to coach because of what?
I had 4 opportunities when I was about to retire. Like, one was do TV, which I eventually did. Right. The other one was to run a hedge fund company with the dude that owned 400 company. He thought I was wasting my time in sports. Like, you make way more money in hedge funds. I'm like, but I don't know that business. I mean, you control my destiny, right? I like to control my destiny. And then the third one was to play again. The vet minimum was like $2.7 million. But I was like, this is a kid's game. I'm past that. And the last one was to coach for the San Antonio Spurs for $11,000 for the year. And I was like, damn, like, I would pay to be there for free. Because there's only so many opportunities you can get to be around a champion.
Yeah.
And understand, people, like, we're all winners. If you try, you are a winner.
Right.
But Pop is a champion. And I will pay for that experience for a year. So I'm gonna come out of pocket, take my $11,000, once again, humble myself. And once you give me the game, the blueprint, I'm gonna put my stuff on it, you know what I mean? My swag, the way I see it, and everything I learned from the game from all the great coaches, and just, my mind just starts clicking. You know what I mean? It just starts clicking in different ways. And that's how I started coaching.
So how does that lead you to Phoenix?
I wanted to be close to my daughter, dog.
Okay.
So Pop offered me the opportunity to stay, but no one ever left San Antonio at that time. And he didn't know what the role was going to be. And I was living in San Antonio and Austin, going back and forth. But my daughter was in LA, and I had to see my kids, dog. Like, I don't care. When I played, we would play a back-to-back, the next day is always off. I would jump on a plane, no matter where I was, fly to get my daughter from LA, come back the same day, and have my daughter for like 3 or 4 or 5 days. My mom would come help me and get my kid. Like, I need to see my kids, dog. Like, that's the most important thing to me. Like, the sacrifices I'm making, I have to make sacrifices for them, they make them for me. So Phoenix was the closest thing to LA, and I can get my daughter there in an hour flight, so it's easy.
So you got to Phoenix, you're in Phoenix, you leave Phoenix, and now what do you do once you leave Phoenix? Because you started TV right after.
I got fired, right? You know what I mean? Like, first time in my life I've ever been fired, and it was the most exhilarating thing ever. Like, I was happy. Like
you was happy you got fired.
Because I can't fake it, dog. Like, I can never fake relationships. I can never fake, like, disrespect. I can never fake everything the article speaks for. I can't fake it, right? I would rather get fired. That was my, like, adult. You know, I have different childhood dreams. Then I conquer those, and I gotta start dreaming again. And I gotta have adult dreams, right? That's my adult dream. My life work is to be a head coach, right? But I can't do it unless it's right. And it wasn't right. So when I got fired, I had this new freedom to go back to school to graduate, right? Not go to Cancun, not sit and chill, not kick it. I went back to school and actually went on campus at UCLA, writing 35-page papers, 25-page papers, 20-page papers, like graduating global warming, right? Taking dope classes on Fred Hampton, like just getting involved in the culture differently. And what I learned was this new generation, I'm not surprised, this new generation is different. And this, I'm gonna break it down in simple terms. When I got to UCLA in the '97, it was the first time I ever seen so many white people listen to Tupac. I was shocked. I didn't know they loved Tupac. They was blasting every dorm room. I'm like, damn, this is dope, right? The culture's here. When I got back to UCLA in 2017, it was the first time I seen a diverse group of people, no matter the race. This younger group is different. No matter your religion, your race, your sexuality, support each other. And I'm like, damn. If you really think about it, diversity never went to a Tupac concert. No diversity supported that. But diversity support Migos. You can go to a rap concert now and be diverse. If you really think about that, this video game generation, they're used to interacting with different people. They're changing the world, right? Technology's changing the world. So you see this morphing of like the change, and they work together. Like when I went to UCLA in the late 90s, early 2000s, everything you did on your own. When I went back in 2017, us four had to do a group project. So they force you to work together, right? And it started to change and morph. Now you're dealing with different people, different insights. So that was impactful for me.
So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about Phoenix or not. So that's why I moved up, because we got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't want to do too much.
done a lot.
Yeah, you have done a lot, you know. So I do got questions about Phoenix. It's something that I want to know.
Yeah.
And I've been asked a few times. So you were the head coach. You there. What impacted you being fired?
I mean, you can read about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can read that. I put it like this. I could have not said nothing.
Right.
And continue to collect checks and get back in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But it's people don't have the money and the luxury and the privilege financially.
Right.
You know, and I always feel like for me, going to UCLA, Jackie Robinson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, Ralph Bunch, that you have to speak up for others and be on the right side of history, right? And that's just a chapter in my book. I feel like whatever happens is closed for me because I speak my truth.
Are you talking about speaking up during at the time or afterwards? Because I mean, you put out a statement once everything hit the fan and all of that. But when you mean speak up, you mean stand up in the moment.
Yeah, it's just the moment, it's the time, it's whatever your moment is. Like, you know, I feel like this, just socially, we don't always, as black people, don't always have to just stand on the ledge and jump off when people think we should. It's whenever you're ready to speak your truth, right? We don't have to save the world all the time.
Yeah.
Like, we got ourselves to save too, mentally,
Right.
health-wise, mental health-wise. Like, whenever you're ready to speak your truth, whatever that is, speak it. Always control your own narrative in life,
Yeah.
right? Because now we can, for the first time ever, we have this thing right here that you can control your own narrative, right? It also can save our life or tell our story after someone takes our life, right?
Right.
It's important.
Look, that's kind of something without saying I want to. One thing you stand for, and I think is great, and I love to make sure that our youth and our community understand, is that you are doing great things, but you are speaking up in your truth. You know what I mean? The way you do. And it's not the same. It may be one way for you, and somewhere else for, you know, Dr. Mitchell, or somewhere else, you know what I'm saying, for Mr. Wilson. It may be different ways, you know. All of us don't speak the way you did speak. You know what I mean? It's all different ways, but we have to be able to speak up.
Yo, check this out. So last week I wanted to go just tour like the school district main offices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sent out a text to one of them, was like, yo, I want to come tour, I forgot what word I used, but what's the word? On Tuesdays when they meet once a month or whatever.
Taco Tuesdays.
Huh? No, not Taco Tuesdays.
Taco Tuesday! Even social Tuesday! Yeah, the school board meeting.
Right?
Yeah.
So I always thought the school board was the building, right? Because that's the school board, they work there, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yo, I got so many texts like, what are you going to say? I'm like, it's already, I'm trying to come visit, like, and build relationships, because I really care about Wyandotte County, dog.
Yeah.
I don't have to. My kids don't go to school there.
Yeah.
I really care because I grew up there. My cousins are still there. My nieces and nephews are still there.
Yeah.
My dad ain't gonna never leave there.
Yeah.
Like, I still care. And that's only because of my dad. My dad taught me to always care. So when I talk to my kids, I tell them all the time, hey, look, I ain't gonna be here forever. And you have to be better than me. You have to take what I did and run with it. But you always have to come back to the dock. It's important. Even if you don't live there, you come back and you do something. Because it's just what we do. And a lot of times, you know, we get criticized for leaving, right? Which is cool. You gotta leave, because I tried to buy a house in the dock. I couldn't find nothing in my price range. I was being completely honest. So then I moved over, right? And then I was like, you know what? I gotta train in LA because I gotta still make money. So you always find ways to impact where you're from. You never let that go, so to speak. You know?
They ain't worried about what you're gonna say, girl, because a black man with a brilliant mind is
Superhero.
Yeah.
You know?
You are, for many people, you're that symbol, you know, that superhero symbol. that allows people know that they can be who and what they want to be.
But I've never felt that way. I was speaking up when I had no money.
Right.
I was getting suspended for saying that ain't cool. That's what's going to like that ain't
Yeah.
right. Like I've always been a little.
It ain't about the money.
I always thought I was a little Tupac disruptor. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people all the time, I chose UCLA because of Tupac. Yeah, like I love the school, but I feel like it was freedom in LA. You know what I'm saying? It was freedom to speak and say what you could and what you wanted to say, and not always been like, you know, where we from? Like, shh. Oh, suspension. I'm like, yo, y'all OSS me doing school. When doing basketball, see, I'm gonna get in school suspension. After about, see, I'm gonna get kicked out of school. Like, it just is what it is. But you know, you can continue to grind and continue to morph until you can have impact and change.
It's freedom in speaking out.
She don't, you know,
Now she on her phone.
yeah, she on there. This her sending me a text saying, "Hey, you want me to cut your mic off?" All right. So let me get to this next segment so we can get you out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're back. This segment right here is just a community segment because you do a lot in the community, and what I want people to have out there is I want them to know some of the things that you actually do in the community. First thing I got to talk about before we get to Earl Watson Academy is talk about the Earl Watson Early Childhood. See, a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people just know it's there and think it's something else. They don't really understand it is the Earl Watson Early Childhood Center. Talk about that, man. Talk about how that became about and why.
Man, I think I used to have a really close relationship with the superintendent, Lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always go visit her. We always talk. We always like just chop it up. And she always let me be my authentic self, right? Which I love. Like I can be authentic, to be impactful. And she was like, "We're gonna name this school after you." And it's like the school I actually went to. So it was like, you know, 2013, 2014, around that time. And I'm not financially responsible for it, but I financially just throw stuff at it. You know what I mean? Like, so the teachers to me is the best way in the style where I can help them, whether it's free food. Mr. Wilson helped me plenty of times on the late night. Like, y'all need like 30 pizzas tomorrow. Like, he always get it done for me, right? It's just the way it is. It's just love like that. And I think our children, when they go to school, they have to first be embraced in a space of not academically, just who you are as an actor.
You have to understand their being.
Yeah, like creativity, right? Embrace their creativity, embrace who they are, and just start to morph it, dog. Like, let them be little artists, let them morph, let them grow. And the principal there is great at always texting me. Like, he's always in contact with me. We always talking. You know, I get like, you know, Lonzo Ball and people to throw them shout outs, and, you know, Jordan Canada, and like, just throw them shout outs, just welcome back to school shout outs, and they do it for me. And it's just, I used to go read before COVID, and this is the dopest thing ever, and this is what I love. The kids be like, "You have the same name as the school." I be like, that's crazy. And it's just like, just interact, man. And sometimes I'll take my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, just interact. Because I think it's just a beautiful thing, and it's like a legacy thing for me. You know what I mean? It's a legacy
kids
thing.
went there,
you know?
man. That's probably one of the main. I'm proud of you, Brad.
Yeah, I just hope they put a full court up there. You know what I mean? Like, kids need a full court. I wanted a full court in pre-K and kindergarten. I mean, I wanted to hoop. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest.
That's one thing I keep pushing for all the schools. Like, I think that every one of our grade schools should have a gym separate from the cafeteria. Like, they should have that so that our kids can do it. It ain't just about basketball. It's just about physical activity and being able to dream and play. They need volleyball. You know what I mean? They need all
I feel like it's nothing like it was even when I was in school. Like, what do they do for physical education now?
I don't know if it exists. I don't know.
I work there. They do have PE, but it's different. It's a little different than it was. And
No dodgeball?
They do play dodgeball. So that this year because of the rain, we didn't have the 5th grade kickball, so we had 5th grade dodgeball. Okay. They play that, you know, every week. So they have those games. The thing is, it's just hard. You gotta look at it when you're sharing a cafeteria with the that's supposed to be the PE room. It's limited of what you can do. They don't have basketball goals. They rolling in goals. You know what I mean?
Can I say something on the schools and the school district is important for me?
Man, please.
Right?
I want you to.
We gotta, and I tried this with the last person, it didn't work. And, you know, I'm from the dot, I don't know how to say things after they don't work. I'm gonna just keep it reciprocal. after that point. You know what I mean? So, but we need to support, create, and build better relationships with our superintendent. It's a black woman. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna give us too many more opportunities.
Right.
Be 100 with you.
Yeah.
So whatever we gotta do to create that to be successful, we gotta do it. And then another thing about parents, we gotta realize this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. It ain't up to our teachers to raise our kids. Right?
Just talk about
They need to come there with some discipline. Right? And it's cool for them to tell us not to discipline our kids. But when they get older, they be aiming at them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So discipline, I tell my daughters all the time, you don't have second chances. Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Everybody that pull you over ain't gonna be your daddy.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth. Your money ain't gonna save you.
Yeah.
Right? So we gotta realize that and take hold of our kids again by neighborhoods. I remember I used to be outside, and if I was cussing and 3 houses down, Miss Allen would yell at me, right? Get the switch. Like, we gotta create that, because if not, I'm telling you, this is very important for Wyandotte County. This is real stuff.
Yeah.
Kansas City is becoming the fastest growing tech city in our country. Y'all don't even know it. Companies are getting 20 years tax free to move their tech company to either right here where we at or Strawberry Hill. Right?
Yeah.
And if we ain't keeping up, we will forever work for others.
Yeah.
Forever. Now imagine being here your whole life and grinding and struggling. You see that houses going on around Sumner. You think that's for us?
You see everything that's happening with it.
It's not for us, right? So imagine growing up your whole life struggling and then getting older, and now you're working with someone who's from the coast, the West Coast, East Coast. Tech is the future of this city. If you want to compete in this city, put your kids in tech, let them learn tech. They already know it. They're on the phones and video games all day. They know it. Don't shut it down, but let them know it's with a purpose. Like my mom used to tell me all the time, if you bounce another ball in my house, I'm gonna whoop you. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna bounce another ball. Get a whooping. Damn, I'll bounce an Nerf ball when they sleep. Get a whooping. I thought it was Demetrius Floyd. I was dunking on Nerf balls like D. Floyd, right?
Yeah.
That was my Larry Johnson.
Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So like, and I told my mom, like, oh, you almost killed my dream. Like, you know what I'm saying? You almost killed it. Being real with you almost killed it. So let your kids express themselves and grow. Let them be on video games, but with a purpose, right?
I gotta add one thing to what you said about supporting our superintendent. I also look at that with my connection to Mayor's. We gotta support that. We don't know when we'll have another black man.
You gotta get them
You know
together.
what I'm saying? We have to. We have to. And so we started some conversations with them being together and some things that's going on. But we have to rally around. Just like you used that analogy about the pack of lions.
Yeah.
That's where we gotta be right
Yeah,
there.
right.
We are in a state to where we have positions to where we as a community need to become that pack so that we can get what's for our community.
I feel like momentum is building, and maybe I feel that way because I'm a bit closer to it than I once was, but I'm hopeful for the community on all levels. I would love to have conversations with you about how to get parents involved, because that is a huge thing. Me and Mo talk about this all the time. We do a lot with the children, but then a lot of it is lost, right? When you go home and you don't have parents that are receptive to it or that are not up to speed and educated and just open to cultivating and feeding that.
And then the parents need opportunities.
They do.
Because working 2 to 3 jobs, you're not at home.
Right.
We literally
You know what I'm
just
saying?
had this conversation.
So it's called a Krebs cycle, where it's constant cause and effect, right? And it goes in circle to circle. But all that is important. We gotta lock down, dog. Like, this is, metaphors training camp time.
Yeah.
We gotta lock down, dog. Like, just, as a community, we have to lock down. And the coolest thing, and we talk about like black pride, black culture, and togetherness. Black people don't, for others who are afraid of black unity, we never leave no one out. Right? We done took so much and keep going and keep celebrating, keep pushing. We don't leave no one out. We always let people get involved in the culture. Even if they don't let us in, we let them in. It's not in our nature to naturally weed people out. You know what I mean? But we are very creative. We are very talented, and it's important for us to continue to grow as a people and a community.
It is. Now, I got to say this because I think this is the dopest stuff that has happened in our community in a while. There's a lot of things happening. But talk about Earl Watson Academy. I know this is with Zoe and Chat, or, you know, Alonzo Williams and Alex Chapman. But talk about that and this opportunity for our young ladies, man, because it is a great thing. First of all, I got to send a shout out to Zoe. You know what I'm saying? And what he done with those girls at Lake North.
From the dot.
You know what I'm saying? But from the dot, definitely. You know what I mean? So I got to do that. The season they had. But talk about this opportunity that you are helping our young ladies get.
First of all, let me say, I think it's important for the decision makers at USD 500 to bring back our creative coaches and teachers. They're successful everywhere but in Wyandotte County. And we wonder why we're not successful in school, right? Or in sports, right?
Yeah.
Bring it back. The next thing is, this is crazy. Like, track with me for a second. Life happened so fast for me, right? Mm-hmm. I had a sister, year and a half, she's young, a year and a half younger than me. Mm-hmm. Even though I had a sister, I never seen the world through a female's eyes until I had my daughter. Okay. Changed my life instantly. When I had my daughter at 30, I instantly went into therapy. Because she is going to fall in love with an image of me. So I took my ass to therapy, right? I wanted to be a fixed version of me. We're never going to be perfect, but we can fix a lot of things, right? Yeah. And then as she grows up and I see the world through her eyes, and me and my daughter are close, we talk about everything from boys to school, we just vibe like that, right? I thought it was important for me to create a girls basketball program that can teach young women how to be excellent basketball players and develop in their identities of themselves. Because the minute in life, male or female, and males get more opportunities, the minute in life you know who you are and you identify who you are, you would instantly have success, right? But a lot of times in sport, male and female, it's never been a coach to say, hey, this is who you are. This is who you are, and it's dope. Embrace it, right? I have one coach of that, Hubie Brown. That's how I know how to do it. So I wanted to give them the opportunities and teach them. Because successful male coaches don't come back to women basketball. Why would they? They're busy doing this. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to do it on this level. I started with 2 teams. Next year I'm going to go to 10, 15, 20, 30. And I'm going to go as many as possible. And we're going to go younger from like grade school through high school and give these young ladies a chance to go to school on a basketball scholarship and let them know that like it's opportunities out there. And once you go to college, your mind can just take off and be what you want, right? But we have to open up those doors for these women, for these young women. It's very important.
Do you feel that they're receptive to it? Do they understand the magnitude of what you guys are creating?
Oh man, the first time I went into practice, we had an NBA practice. They thought I was crazy. You know what I mean? But I don't know how to teach the game any other way. Like, why would I teach them? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, why would I teach them like on a female level? There's no such thing as if basketball is basketball.
Don't water it down.
The first player I ever trained was a girl by the name of Jordan Canada. She got drafted number 5 to the Seattle Storm. Now she plays for the Sparks. That was the first time I became a coach. And me and her to this day are tight. Like, she teamed Jordan, like she be hooking me up with Jordan. I'm like, yo, I love you. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like she is my sister. Right? If she don't like who I date, her and her mom be like, that ain't gonna work. You know, that's how close we are. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. So why would I? It's only natural and right for me to come back to impact these young ladies and just raise them up and teach them everything I've learned, just dump knowledge into them so they can grow.
I don't know that people understand how many young basketball minds you really have just bred. Like, you've touched, so you have an amazing, I heard somebody say that Earl Watson is one of the greatest basketball minds there is. And I just don't know that everybody understands everybody that you've touched, some of their greatest players, and some that we don't know owe a lot to you.
I think for me, like, my biggest accomplishment was a kid off the street by the name of Alan Williams. Right? Came off the street, I gave him like a blueprint, he came back, played in the NBA. John Simmons made $20 million. He was a G League tryout player. That means he paid to try out. And I see something, like when I see something in basketball, Like, it's just different. I can't put it into words. Like, I study like gates, how people move, and these visions start coming, right? And you create a rhythm, you create a flow. Basketball is all rhythm and flow. It's like music. If there's no bass, no consistent beat, you can't hoop, bro.
Right.
Like if you watch, I'm gonna give you something simple. You watch Kobe, right? Kobe is the king of 2 dribbles. The greatest players in the world don't dribble 100 times. So if you got a kid that's playing basketball, stop dribbling so damn much. Get to your points and go, right? 2 dribbles max. Get off of it if it's more than 2 dribbles. Kobe's the king of getting into spots on the court. And it's a rhythm, it's a flow, like a 1 and 2, like dance, right? 1, 2, 3, pop, 1, 2, like you just start studying that flow. And that's how I learned the game. Like I studied it on my own and just got knowledge from different people and just morphed into my own vision.
Now tell them, Earl Watson Academy, if there's some young ladies or just aspiring or want to learn more about it or know, how do they get involved? How can they do that?
Well, we got to open up more teams with more space. I have a thing like if you ride with me, I'll ride with you. So the girls we have and ladies we have on the team right now, I'm not changing them. Mm-hmm. Like I don't care who's better and who's what. I don't care because I know I can teach you to be better. Right. Like it's a development program that we travel. Now this year I paid out of pocket. I charge no dollars. They believed in me, I believed in them, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a development program with travel basketball to play in front of coaches, get the knowledge, and I run practice with Zoe. And I'm helping Zoe out too. They helping me, I'm helping them. Mm-hmm. And we're building coaches, we're building players, we're building opportunity. And it's going to grow. I did it before in LA with 3 teams. I left it when it was 700, right? So I know how to do it. And like goes back to Master P, talk. Yeah. If you can do it on your own and you grind, you can always do it again. So I'm doing it again just in a winning space.
Okay. So we're going to end that segment, then we're going to take it out.
Hold on, because I wanted to ask you about latitude.
Latitude, man. Latitude is really dope. I know a lot of people know this, but I'm in tech.
Don't tell me, hold on.
Yeah. Hey, so this is important.
She done really went Berniac on me. She wants to okay, let me see.
I don't think a lot of people know this. Like, I'm in tech and I'm also in a space called Latitude. My mom is Mexican, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom, this is crazy. My mom raised us Mexican in the house, but she always told us we was black. And she said the world is gonna always see you as black. My mom is funny. She said the world always gonna see you as black, and if they disrespect it, check them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was telling us to fight, basically. So like, she really believed that. Like, and as long as I've been around my mom, I never heard her. People think they can get validated by using like the N-word. Never heard her use it. She don't play that shit. If she hears like Latinos or Latinos say that in Spanish, she'll start cussing them out. She don't play that. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. But Latitude is South by Southwest for Latinos. And this year we having Barack Obama come speak. I'm a partner in it. We have the CEO of Nike, the CEO of like airlines, every major bank. And that's the unity you can have if you bring culture together. Like it's very important. And I'm just in there doing my thing, and this is crazy. People ask me, how do you identify yourself? I'm intersectional, bro. Never in my lifespan could I be intersectional publicly. What does that mean? Right? That means it's an intersection of black and brown. I'm 100% both. Like as I'm saying, Black Lives Matter. I'm yelling, get us out of cages. That could have been me in a cage. My mom Mexican, first generation. That could have been me. Get us out of cages. Black Lives Matter. Like Tupac says, the duality of the Gemini, right? You live life twice as fast. It's the same thing with intersectionality. And intersectionality goes through a lot of things. It can go through religion, sexual preference, race, women. Or intersectional. You're a woman and you're black. You're intersectional, right? So that's important. But shout out to Latitude and President Obama for coming to do like a panel. It's gonna be sick. San Diego, late September. San Diego, late September. Yep.
Any other questions? I don't want to step on your toes.
As if you haven't already.
I'm just saying. JB should give me every time, man. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to cut and we're going to go to our next thing. All right, we are here. And I appreciate you being here, Earl. Got to ask you one more question. It's kind of ending everything. What would you say if you had the attention of the whole world for 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
20 seconds for the attention of the whole world. Now, I don't want you to tell us what you would say. I want you to look into the camera. I want you to give us what you would say. Just tell the world what you'd say for that 20 seconds.
Man, it's
right
great.
there.
Oh, 20 seconds?
Yeah, man, she gonna keep clock. She keeping the clock on time.
You sound like you wanna go on.
This is important because we're gonna learn me. We're gonna learn me real quick.
Okay.
Where am I at, bro?
Where are you at?
I'm on a platform. Where am I at? What am I speaking at?
What it is they came to you and said, hey, you at home. And they like, hey, we're going to give you the attention of the world. Everyone's going to get this broadcast. You're sitting at home. What do you tell? We need to know Earl Watson 20 seconds. What are you going to tell the world? You got the world. Everyone in the world attention.
Already did it.
What do you say? Okay, well now.
Already did it.
Okay, well give us that.
Just Google my situation. Yeah, I already did it. You know what I mean? Like it's important. You tell the black narrative.
Yeah.
It's important.
Okay.
We're all not thugging and gangbanging.
We not give it to the camera. Just give it to 20. Come on, man. Come on, 20 seconds. Give it to us.
You're not charged for pictures.
Yeah, I understand.
I told our homies, I said, yo, they don't know. I don't do interviews for free.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know.
Yeah.
No, I turn down interviews all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Respect that.
I don't do a lot of things. I don't do it for free. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? This is real.
Y'all miss from Taco Tuesday? None of that.
I be missing Taco Tuesday. There be some real tacos. My Mexican side will come out real quick. You know what I mean? Nah, like shoot, this is real. Like black culture is diverse and it's not intimidating. It's real and it's vibrant and it's thriving and it's always changing. And why is it always changing? Because we don't know where we come from. We was forced to live here to reinvent ourselves 1,000 different times over a course of time, right? So when you think, you know, when we was saying dog in the 90s and we was shunned with it and y'all say it now in popular television, we done moved on to something else. When we was sagging and bagging, Jay-Z said it was cool to wear suits, right? Now we going back to skinny jeans and people's like, oh, the thing is too skinny. Well, I seen the whole 80s and 70s R&B bands, they was wearing blouses. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it real. They can hit us on us now, but Shalimar was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. Like, we constantly reinvent ourselves. So if you're young and you're black and you're hungry and you don't see a way, just find a little light. And when you find that little light, whatever that light is, it's a wrap, right? It's over. That light will change your life because that's all it is in life. Everything is dark. That light is that one opportunity, right? That light is like that mustard seed. I don't even read the Bible like that, but that's that light. You know what I'm saying? It's that mustard seed. Like we are everything like our grandparents prayed for. My grandmother played church at 8th Street Baptist Church. My success isn't from me, it's because she spent countless hours praying in that church. I'm not stupid, bro. Like I know the grind that she went through. I know the grind that she did for me to eventually be successful generationally way later. So if you're a parent and you're going through something, grind that shit out. Do it the right way and always pray and stay focused because it ain't always about you. Maybe it's your kid, maybe it's your kid's kid. But if you do it the right way, it will pay forward. 20 seconds.
Before we get out of here, this is my last question.
Yeah.
Earl Watson, how do you want to be remembered?
Huh?
How do you want to be remembered?
I want my father to be remembered. That's my father's son.
So I pointed already. I was going to ask y'all to join me in giving him some oxygen one last time, but we already did that.
Let's do it
You know what I'm saying?
again.
I said 1,000 questions in 2 hours.
Man, we appreciate you being here.
I appreciate the love. You know I do anything for the die and anything for y'all, man. Like, that's real.
I appreciate it, man.
Like,
Much love. This means a lot to us, and we appreciate you coming, man, spending your time, because I know your time is short.
Yo,
So thank you.
where these tacos at, though?
Man, we got these Dre tacos.
Where
They
these
coming,
vegan tacos
man.
at,
We,
though?
Dre, you got them vegans?
The vegan is just cheese and lettuce, bro.
Yeah,
Or
they
just
in there.
make cheese or just lettuce and tomatoes.
They in there. Okay, so listen.
I love Earl. I was just
camera. She laughing about the man's preference of food.
Don't get that on camera.
No, it's on camera already. It's on camera already.
I'm not the one for it.
T-Money, don't listen to him. Alright, so, listen, we appreciate you coming. I am Coach Mo.
And I'm Jabrelle Jenee.
Together we are Culture Keepers. We love you.
We love you.
We appreciate you coming. Alright, and thank you for being here. We are at 1739 Gallery. Alright, we're here every Tuesday. Same back channel, same time. Alright? Now, before you leave, do not forget we got one more time. We're going to have Faymis Amira come back up and she's going to bless us with some of that grown folks music. All right, Earl, thank you for coming.
Baby, tell me a little something about you. Way you moving got me thinking about you. Was it supposed to make me feel this way? Now we gotta write songs on the low. Way you moving, nobody needs to know. They just don't know, no. Where we dating, Ghana. Late nights in Ghana. On the beach side so high, na. Turn it up, Ghana. Way up, point it back down low. Move it back now, or the way you lose control. Take me back to that night in Ghana. Whoa. Take me back to that night in Ghana. Baby, take me back to that night when it was just us. Everything made sense. Studio vibes, drinking all night. Hands on me, felt just right. Now we ride into the song on the radio. Baby, put it down, don't let me go. Kissing on my body, got me feeling naughty. Going all night, forget everybody. Yeah, forget everybody. Hands on my body, forget everybody. Way up, winding back down low. Where we did in Ghana. Late nights in Ghana. On the beach side so high, na. Turn it up, Ghana. Way up, wind it back down low. Move it back now, what the way you lose control. Take me back to that night in Ghana. Whoa. Take me back to that night in Ghana, Take me all the way back to another world in outer space. Baby, take me down. Keep it moving all around and round. Yeah, my baby, oh. You they cry for me, I know. Say you they for me, oh no. I they for you, adore you, yeah. Where we day in Ghana. Late nights in Ghana. On the beach side so high, na. Turn it up, Ghana. Way up, wind it back down low. Move it back now, what the way you lose control. Take me back to that night in Ghana. Whoa. Take me back to that night in Ghana. When we day in Ghana. Late nights in Ghana. On the beach side so high, na. Turn it up, Ghana. Way up, wind it back down low. Move it back now, or the way you lose control. Take me back to that night.
Faymis Amira everywhere.